Good morning everyone. Welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will discuss the recent developments between India and Pakistan. This issue is important from the GS2 perspective, and in GS2 we have a part called international relations, and in neighborhood relations this development and the India and Pakistan relations become very important. So what are the recent developments? What is the context in which we are discussing this issue? It is in the context of recently Pakistan Hindu Council and Pakistan Airlines signed an MOU in which they decided to open the air traffic for pilgrimage from India and Pakistan. So this is a very important development. This is a very important development for people-to-people contact. People-to-people contact. In this context, we are discussing the developments between India and Pakistan, and we will also discuss the issues that are pertaining to India and Pakistan and what is the way forward. What is the way forward in order to have peace and prosperity in the region. Okay, this will be the contents for this video. See, here we have different pilgrimage centers. For example, we have Paramhans Mandir in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. We also have Hingal's Mata Mandir in Baluchistan, Ajmer Sharif Dargah in Rajasthan, Nizamuddin Aulia in Delhi. These four pilgrimage provinces becomes important from prelims and mains perspective for the year 2022 because these names are exclusively mentioned in the editorial of today's newspaper. So these becomes important. We will also see the location. Paramhans Mandir in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. This is Baluchistan. Hingalja Mandir in Baluchistan. Hingalaj Mandir is somewhere over here near Quetta. Okay, this is the location of Hingalj Mandir, okay, in Baluchistan. And we have Paramhans Mandir in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, we have somewhere over here. This is the location of Paramhans Mandir. Okay, you need to know these locations. And we also have Kartarpur corridor. Kartarpur corridor is along the India-Pakistan border. You also need to have the idea of Kartarpur corridor, and this can be asked even in medieval history because we have the development of Sikhism along with Bhakti and Sufi movements. So this becomes important even from the medieval history point of view. These are the locations. Students, please keep in mind and make note of these locations. The next, let's go to the history of partition. The issue between India and Pakistan dates back to the civilizations. From 712 AD, 712 AD is when the first Islamic invasion took place. And from 712 till 1947 and even post 1947, we have the issue of India and Pakistan relations. In this map, you can see the partition of India, which gave rise to West Pakistan and also East Pakistan, which was then named East Pakistan and it is now called Bangladesh. Okay. In this context, we can have two different types of questions that can be asked in your mains exam. Let's see the questions. Analyze the role of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in the national integration. Okay, this becomes a part of post-independence history. From the mains point of view, GS1, from GS1 mains point of view, this becomes an important question. And also compare it with the role played by Count Cavour in the unification of Italy. Okay, you need to compare the role of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and also the role played by Count Cavour in the unification of Italy. See, these are the typical UPSC mains questions. UPSC asks questions on the same lines. It wants you to compare. It wants you to have an holistic idea about a particular issue. So these kind of questions has to be practiced beforehand so that in the examination you will be able to make justice to that particular question and get maximum marks. This is the first question. Second question, discuss the events that led to the partition. This can be a 10 marker. This can be a 10 marker from modern history point of view. From modern history point of view. When you are discussing the events that led to partition, okay, you can start from 1905 division of Bengal, okay, and also you can talk about divide and rule policy that was followed by Britishers. From 1905 till 1947, you have to discuss all the events that led to the partition of India. Okay, we have discussed two questions, one from post-independence and also the world history, and one from modern Indian history. What are the causes for the tensions between India and Pakistan? There are basically three very important causes. First one is the state-sponsored terrorism. You all know Pakistan it is called the safe haven. Pakistan is the safe haven for terrorists. Okay, this has been the major issue that is pertaining to the relations between India and Pakistan. Pakistan is said to be the state sponsorship for terrorism. And you also have FATF, Financial Action Task Force. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force, which is constituted by G7. G7, revise the countries that come under G7. Okay, you please revise in this context the countries that are a part of G7. And FATF has categorized Pakistan into the grey list. Which means Pakistan is not doing enough to curb terror funding. Pakistan has been a part of grey list, which means Pakistan is not doing enough in order to curtail the terror funding. The second issue is the abrogation of Article 370 and converting Jammu and Kashmir into the union territories. Okay, converting Jammu and Kashmir into union territories, and this caused a havoc and this upsetted Pakistan, and we can see the increase in the number of insurgencies post abrogation of Article 370. And the third and the most important one is the Chinese friendship with Pakistan and erosion of sovereignty, what we can call it as, because of CPEC. CPEC stands for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. CPEC stands for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This is a part of Belt and Road Initiative that has been a flagship program of Chinese government. Okay, CPEC is a part of Belt and Road Initiative. So what is the issue with CPEC? It is because, see here in this map, you can clearly see this is the map of Kashmir. This is what India calls as, this is the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. This is an area of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. You can see the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which starts from Gwadar port and goes all the way to Kashi in China. This is not the Kashi in India, this is a Kashi in China, and this passes through the Indian territory. This passes through the Indian territory, and because of this, and China did not take the consent of India in order to use its territory for CPEC. This is claimed by India as an erosion of sovereignty. Erosion of sovereignty. Okay, this is a very important issue pertaining to the international relations and also geopolitics, world's geopolitics. These are the three main important reasons for the tensions between India and Pakistan. So what is the way ahead? What needs to be done? The first thing, that is happening as of now is increasing people to people contact. People to people contact is from tourism, okay? It's also from soft diplomacy, what we can call it as soft diplomacy. Few examples of soft diplomacy is India promoting yoga and also Ayurveda, okay? These are the few examples where we can have more people to people contact. You also know there is a huge fan following for Indian Bollywood in Pakistan, and also Hindustani music. For Hindustani music and Indian Bollywood, there's a huge fan following in Pakistan. These are the multiple ways in which we can have people to people contact. The second solution is revive the democracy using multilateral institutions. See, you can say Pakistan is also democratic, but Pakistan is not as democratic as India because military rule is prevailing in Pakistan. Military and the government are at equal pedestals, are at almost equal pedestals, or you can say military is more powerful than the democratically elected government. This has to be solved using multilateral institutions. What are the multilateral institutions in which India and Pakistan are a part of? One is, you can say, SAARC. SAARC is a such multilateral institution in which India and Pakistan are a part of. And the next one is very important one, that is SCO. SCO is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is one more important multilateral organization which can be used to normalize tensions between India and Pakistan. The third one is confidence building measures and diplomacy. We also talked about soft diplomacy and confidence building measures through continuous engagements. India and Pakistan needs to have continuous doors of engagement so that the issues are solved. See, it's been almost 5 years. It's been almost 5 years since India has closed its doors for any negotiations. India says there is no talks until terrorism ends. Until terrorism ends. This has been the position of India with respect to Pakistan. Okay, this has to change. We need to have confidence building measures and we need to engage in soft diplomacy so that the neighborhood relations are intact. We'll see one more question. India needs to dehyphenate trade and terrorism in order to promote healthy relationship with Pakistan. We already discussed this. India needs to dehyphenate trade and terrorism. What is the stance of India as of now? India says there is no talks unless terrorism ends. So India needs to open its borders for more people to people contact and trade so that more people to people contact will ensure normal relations between India and Pakistan, and we can have regional prosperity. Okay, this is how you need to answer this kind of questions when it is asked in your mains exam. Thank you. For more such quality content, please consider subscribing to Legacy IAS Academy. Thank you so much.